as you talk about the whole process of, you know, at times they may use the veil of an advisory service as a thin club against a company. As we get to the Blue Ribbon Commission and the Blue Ribbon Commission advice on board shareholder communication and more direct communication, more transparent communication, as we begin to move down that path and hopefully do that effectively, where does that fit in with companies like proxy advisory services as there becomes more direct communication?
I think that's a great thing. I mean, clearly, we would like to, and at the risk of opening yet another topic I hear all the time, one of the reasons we feel it's important to work with corporates as well as institutional investors is to make that happen. We actually believe that if all we did was talk to institutional investors and never to corporates, we would not do as good a job servicing institutional investors or corporates. So our clear goal, and you know, we have a tagline, the Center for the Financial Community, is to bring those two constituents together. Our service, we don't believe, is predicated on the point that they don't talk. In fact, the more you talk directly with your shareholders, I believe the more valuable we will actually become in the marketplace.
So I mean, I think what I hear you say is that the need here is not only the fiduciary or the logistical need, but actually from a higher level and a corporate governance level, that the need for proxy voting services may be to serve as a facilitator of corporate, board and shareholder communications, an intermediary, if you will.
That's clearly our goal.
Do shareholders think of it that way? Do they use you that way, do you think?
Absolutely. I mean, I think that obviously one of the difficulties, certainly for sort of companies that are concerned, is that the reason we're an 800-pound gorilla is because we bring together 51 1% shareholders and suddenly represent a majority of shares at a time when each of them, if there was no bringing them together, that they were dispersed enough not to have what we believe is any real voice. I think to the extent that we can bring a majority of shareholders together to the table to talk and engage with the corporation, that's a win for both sides and ultimately where we want to get to. And I think, I'd like to think that there's more of that today than there was 20 years ago before the start of proxy advisory services.
I'm having a little trouble getting that concept. I know what you're saying, but from our perspective, absolutely, we want communication with the shareholders. We want to have that dialogue, particularly when there's a difference, because I'd like the opportunity to explain what our position is and hopefully change minds. And as long as you're the intermediary, I can't get through to the real shareholders to have that discussion. I mean, if you actually got them together, that would be a different thing, but I have a hard time seeing that as your role. So I'm open to listen. I just need to understand how that would work.
Well, I give you an example. This year, obviously, there was a controversial vote at CSX, and we held a webcast where we had CSX management, the activist shareholders. We opened it up to all our clients. Both sides were given an opportunity to voice their views on the topic. Questions were asked by our institutional investors. We played David's role as panelist and moderator. We took no side whatsoever. We had not made a recommendation on the proxy issue prior to that webcast. It was one of the most well-attended webcasts we've had, and I think that certainly from a board point of view at CSX, felt that they had a forum to talk directly to a majority of their shareholders.
Okay, terrific answer.
And I hope that that is the future of where we go rather than the other.
Okay.